Hi, Tom Cole for the Steve Taylor Community Star Award, and certainly honor and privilege to welcome in a lady who's everyone knows in the community, Mary Helen Darah. Mary Helen, MH, thank you for being here. And you know, it's interesting when Steve started this, and we award a community star every month. Your bio was incredible. I mean, I look at all the things you do. You're editor, main writer for the Sylvania Advantage. Your reach is over 20,000 there, and much plus 20,000. You've been so kind to us, which we, Steve and Terry and
kind to the community, and we're the good newspaper. So it's.
I love that. Yeah, that is your that's your philosophy, right?
Yes.
The good newspaper.
And,
I like that.
You can't, keep them in the stands right now. I think people are just craving some good news. So we just leave the negative to the other guys. So we just share stories of hope and heartwarming tales that are especially important during these crazy days right now.
Well, I mean, that could be a T-shirt. We leave the negative to the other guys. I kind of like.
Exactly.
I like that. That's you sound like Steve. That's how Steve works, and Terry works that way. Yeah. But I mean, so editor, main writer for the paper. You've won a myriad of awards as a columnist. You've been in the Blade. You've been in all these magazines. You've written a book. You've got another one on the back burner. And I told you a long time ago, you have a unique writing style. To me, it's an Irma Bombeck, and that's to me one of the best compliments you can give somebody, because she was one of the great humorists. She was kind of like a female Mark Twain. Yeah, a female Mark Twain, really, is what she was. And I give the folks an example.
Not worthy of that, because she's my lady.
Yeah.
She's my go-to.
Give the folks an example of your humor. You were up for the Bachelorette in the City Paper. We can mention another paper, can't we?
My gosh, they're awesome. Yeah, the Toledo City Paper.
You were up for the Bachelorette of the Year, right?
I could have given birth to everyone else on that stage, and I won with my sense of humor. Yeah, because I had that in my hip pocket, because the contestant before me was asked, what is some of your talents and gifts? And to me, I always think of spiritual gifts and what I give. And she proceeded to put her leg behind her head, and I'm like, I can do that actually, but I'm not doing that in front of 350 people. And my question was, how do you impress the parents of someone you're dating?
Yeah.
So, well, I bring a nice fruit cup to the home, and because that's my age demographic. Right. So they announced my name, and I'm like, wait, what? You're kidding me? So it was pretty amazing.
That's so cool.
I should just have that tattooed somewhere. Top Bachelorette, But
you're a driving force with the Sylvania. Tell us about the Sylvania Area Family Services, where you're feeding folks, because Steve and Terry have been very much involved in, and
they're feeding our servicemen and women this week. Thank you
yeah.
for that.
But tell them what the Sylvania, because people look at Sylvania, and I know you hear the same thing. Well, there's no food insecurity in Sylvania, but
there is. Right now, Sylvania Area Family Services is feeding over 8,000 people annually. Yeah. Passing out backpacks and school supplies to over 350 kids, which will be taking place August 10th, 11th, and 12th, and to Sylvania school kids. Right now, the pantry is open to anyone in Lucas County with food insecurities, and that's where the National Guard is coming in to help with food distribution. And you are kindly, the Taylor Automotive family is kindly feeding our servicemen and women on that day, which we greatly appreciate. But they're such an amazing organization, and I got involved with them just because, you just like, wait, why you do senior food commodities, you do nutrition programs, you have community meals, which unfortunately have been put on hold right now. But there's so much that they do with 4 full-time people. You've got to be kidding me. This is, I mean, the power of positive intent and focus. And, I just am so involved in that organization because they impact so many people. They do so much good with very little resources, and they're not government funded. It's all private donations and some grant work and things, but they get it done. It's awesome.
Well, that's the way Steve and his dad function when they gave Terry and I a directive during this virus that we look for food insecure situations and help out. So
I had this. I was there volunteering to pass out food, and this woman came up. She worked in a nursing home facility, and she just looked lost. And she said, I've never done this before. My husband's been furloughed, and I don't know what to do. I said, you just reach out your hands and here you go, and I'll see you next week.
Yeah,
and
right.
I think people are just, you'd be surprised
Yes.
how many people are in a tough situation right now. And I think also people, like I said, in Sylvania, like, there's no poverty in Sylvania, but if there's 50% of kids who are either on a partially or fully paid lunch program,
right.
And when schools closed, that's another hardship that had to be faced as well, that hopefully, that we could rise to the occasion and help out with.
Well, you've done that your entire career, and with the Sylvania Rotary and the Chamber, and it basically comes down to that anything that is good that's going on in the Sylvania area, you're in the middle of it, you're helping, and you're making a difference.
Well, I'm just surrounded by great people, so that's my mom's great advice growing up, was surround yourself with good people, and you are the company you keep. So, boy, I have to bring my A game to be around the company I keep. I got Jennifer Archer of the United Way who help, we're stuffing school supply kits, and this teacher at Southview is the theater department teacher. She brought kids to help stuff food bags, and they bust out into song, and there's just I'm just surrounded by great people. Sharon Lang, our publisher of Sylvania Advantage, like, share that good news. Let's keep those good news stories coming. So I just happen to be surrounded by really great people. So.
Well, I'm sure you've seen it, but it's an interesting article I read, or book or something somewhere, where you want to know who you are. When people say, I don't know who I am, or, they say, well, it's really easy. Take your 5 friends that you hang out with the most and look at the 5 friends. That's who you are. And so that's it.
I'm doing pretty well.
Yeah. So that's where I was going. On another note too, MH, cancer survivor.
Yes,
and the way that you carry that, I find to be inspirational, because you have great empathy for people that are going through it, because you went through it. But again, you use your humor to let people know that you can get through it, you can get to the other side.
Not just survive, but you've got to thrive.
And,
it's incredible. But, sometimes I feel like I'm not worthy of the term survivor. I think we're all surviving something.
Sure.
I had a grandfather, a Marine, operating in the jungles of Okinawa. I babysat for Dr. Weisskopf, the numbers on his arm.
Yes.
Being the only survivor of his family in Auschwitz. We're all surviving something.
Yes.
Mine just happens to sound kind of scary, but it's amazing the blessings you get out of survivorship, and the people that come in your life, and the strength. You feel infallible. It's like, what do you have to lose? Why not? Let's conquer each day. And I had this amazing woman, Virginia Mason, who would call me every morning, and she would say this every single day: "Baby girl, what side of the grass you want?" I'm on this side of the grass, Virginia.
Yeah.
Then you go claim it. You go claim that kingdom. You go claim it. I'm like, so I'm claiming it for Virginia. And you had no time to wallow. You had no time to say, oh, why me? And I love Arthur Ashe. I love that when he was asked, do you ever say why me when contracting AIDS from a blood transfusion? He said, if I said why me, I would have to say why me to my blessings as well. Why do I have a beautiful wife? Why do I have an amazing, amazing children? Why did I have such an incredible career? And he's, another hero. But so it's just, again, surround yourself with great people, and the survivors that have come into my life that I've been blessed with, and the people you meet and the people that you can mentor. It's been really rewarding. So, it's just, oddly, there's some pretty incredible things that came out of that journey.
Well, it's always an honor for me to be around you and be involved in the community activities that you mentor and pursue. You're an incredible positive force. And what I'm going to do, we got a 3-parter here on this interview, so I'm going to hand you off now to my good friend and Taylor ambassador, very talented gentleman, and that'll be Terry Crosby.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Hello, this is Terry Crosby on the Steve Taylor Community Award. We have a beautiful, don't you look absolutely beautiful today? We have Mary Helen Darah here visiting us. Mary, thanks so much.
Yourself there.
I appreciate that. Thanks so much for coming in. I just want everybody to know we are affiliated and connected really with a young lady here in the city of Toledo, goes by the name of Social Butterfly. And we have honored you, whether you want it or not. you are the other social butterfly of Toledo, Ohio. So we don't have just one, we have two.
No, we're all flitting around. It's great.
Yes, I'm just amazed. I follow you all the time on your social media platforms. I think we support each other.
Yes, absolutely.
And the work that you do constantly, each and every day, the giving heart that you show, we're pretty much the same. So I just want you to know that we really appreciate all the good work that you do in the community.
Thank you so much. And likewise, the Toledo Area Automotive family has been very, very supportive and generous, and I love the impact that you're making on the community.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And we're so pleased about our continued partnership with you. I know that you and Tom do a lot of work together, and you guys include me in every now and again.
Every now and then.
and I'm just really, really amazed. But the first question I wanted to ask you is, you're such a great editor. You're such a great writer. You're very creative. And, I'm just amazed at some of the things I read that you write. But for those out there that may want to follow in your footsteps, because let's face it, you have a lot of young people that admire you as much as I do, okay? So what would you kind of tell them, or what can you tell us in regards to how your career started in writing, editing? When did you start, and how did that all materialize to where you are today?
Well, I hope young people take a different route getting to the journalism writing than I did, because I was on live television, and for some odd reason, they didn't want someone with drainage tubes and a bald chick with who morphed out to be like 215 pounds thanks to steroids while going through chemo. So, I'm always a big believer when life gives you lemons, you make a citrusy beverage and put an umbrella in it. So, I just had some thoughts, and I just started jotting them down and sharing some family stories, and humor has always been my survivor mechanism. I submitted them. Next thing you know, I'm a published person and winning Best Print Journalist and Parenting Media Awards, and I'm like, how did this happen? So I just kind of fell into it. And
what age were you then?
Oh gosh, I was 40. See, and then another life lesson: you are never, ever, ever, ever too old to begin again and start again. So at 44, all of a sudden, I go from, this marketing TV person to going through this journey, and next thing you know, I'm writing and editing, and just all of a sudden it's just incredible that whole journey, how it led to a whole new life. So it's great.
That's absolutely amazing. So were you involved in that kind of like at your teenage years, or?
I always loved to write, but never to the extent that obviously I do now. And the one thing, the favorite moments, well, there's a couple favorite moments when you're quoted you to you, which is really awesome. Like they said, I read this thing that it said da-da-da, and it's helped me through. And I'm like, I wrote it. That's been kind of cool. And I was calling another survivor, and I said, hey, just, been thinking about your friend. How's she doing? She's like, well, she was sitting alone waiting for a diagnosis, and she was terrified. She picked up this Toledo Parent magazine and started reading about this crazy lady in a killer bee suit who was in the wrong room when she was visiting her aunt in the hospital. And she said she started laughing out loud and totally until tears were running down her face reading this article. And I'm like, I'm the crazy lady in the bee suit. I wrote that. And for me as a writer, that's the most rewarding thing, is that if my writing can take you away to a better place and give you a laugh out loud moment where you can forget the murderous hornets, dust storms coming from Africa, the bombs in Lebanon, and a killer virus, then that is the most rewarding thing that can happen. I mean, and
it just takes you way up there, right?
Yeah, it's just like, wow, if you can transport someone through humor and storytelling, and that, and some of the stories come from some dark places, but that there's always this light at the end of the tunnel, and it's not a train. My work is very hopeful, and hope, even though when it's very, very thin, it never can be diminished. So.
That's amazing. Yes. Well, thank you very much for that. And I notice as I follow you, you are extremely close with your father.
Yeah.
It is unbelievable. So just tell us a little bit about your relationship, some of the things your dad enjoys doing, and the impact that he had on your life.
Well, my dad, we recently lost my mom, so we've even been kind of thrown together, and in grief and carrying on without this incredible woman. This is where, I don't know what I'm gonna do, but my mom was the source of half my material. She always, what am I gonna do without the woman who,
yes.
I went to pick up back in the day, you picked up the 4x6 pics, and I noticed there was 36 pics of an eyeball, and I'm like, Mom, we had the disposable cameras. I'm like, Mom, I think you had the camera the wrong way. And she's like, oh, I said, and there's some flash pictures. She goes, I wondered what that bright light was. So, without her constant daily source of light, it's been tough. And so my dad and I have even gotten closer. My dad's much more serious than my mom. It's a beautiful balance of yin and yang.
Now, is he an ex-Marine?
My grandfather was a Marine in Okinawa, surgeon.
Right.
And in the Pacific Theater, my father was in the Army for 8 years, and so it's not I love you, baby. It's like Mary Helen, love you, and but he has always been if I had a nickel or a dime or even a penny for every time he would say, you're in the service of others before self, others before self. I mean, I would be sitting on an island in Aruba right now, and he's just been a man of service, and so that has really inspired me. Just give back, give back, give back, and he does that quite well. In fact, my mom's all about basketball and books, and so we have a basketball scholarship in her honor at the University of Toledo.
Fantastic.
And we're doing a window of wildlife at the Metro Parks for my mom. That's the bird piece, and it's just he's just very he's just an example. He's 84. He swims 50.
In pretty good shape still.
He's in phenomenal.
Yes.
Can't keep up with him. So and he's always right now he's in a little transition. As a COVID, unfortunately, he retired, but now he's going to be at it and getting back there and volunteering and raising funds for the causes he believes in. As soon as things open up, and he's doing things on the periphery right now. But he's been always very, very inspiring. And I always tell the girls, I said, you gotta, we had so many in my generation. I think had so many dads that we could look up to. And like real, just there. And now I said, you gotta find someone with some integrity and purpose and a mission and others before self. And I know it's been very, what an incredible blessing in life to have a man that you can respect, that you can call dad.
Yes, well, I can tell you guys are extremely close, and it just gives me a feel-good factor just to see you guys go here and there. I see you guys everywhere.
Oh yeah.
And I want to really appreciate your time here. Thanks for talking to me. I'm going to introduce you to Mr. Steve Taylor. He's going to talk to you next.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Hey, Steve Taylor from Taylor Automotive. I am here with our very special guest, Mary Helen Darah. She is our August Community Star of the Month. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Very, very humbled by this. Like I said, I'm surrounded by great people, but so I represent a whole village, but thank you very much.
It's fantastic. Like Tom said, we read your bio. I mean, it's unbelievable. And like anyone in Sylvania that's doing anything in the community, they know who you are, and you're probably involved and know who they are.
Yeah.
So talk to us a little bit, and I know it's hard to just point out one in particular, but there's so many great events and organizations that you're involved with. Is there one in particular that's really near and dear to your heart that you're involved with day to day?
Oh, well, obviously Sylvania Area Family Services is huge. It's the impact that they do, feeding kids and supplying kids with book bags and also a diversion program for kids, but also the Sylvania Flower Hospital, ProMedica Flower Hospital Auxiliary. I do a lot with them as well and support them. They do a lot of great work, and it's really nice because their events then go towards the funds raised, go to specific things. Like one event went for, you wouldn't even think of this, but $6,000 bed for patients to that rotate for the lungs, and it's a very specific technical thing, but it's really great how they see a need and they meet it, and I love to support events with them as well. So
that's great.
Yeah, there's so many.
There are so many.
It's
that's
like
right.
I could keep
you could
going
probably go
on and on. Yes,
sure.
and I love how just as a community, Sylvania's really stepping it up, and I just feel so badly because of COVID. It's a little bit of a bump in the road, obviously, but there's a lot of momentum and a lot of positive momentum going on in the downtown area and their Friday art walks, and and there's nothing I won't do to support them. I even got on my unicycle for the Cinco de Mayo.
Unicycle.
Oh yeah, I used
Wow.
to. My parents, because we haven't stood up, but I'm a woman of height, if you hadn't noticed, and my parents had this brilliant idea that if they had a unicycle, it would help with posture. So I was a mini American back in the day and rode half times. I'm a 6'1", by the way. But now I need a neighbor or a mailbox to stop and a lot of help getting up. But once I'm up, I can still do my thing.
We might need to get some video clips and show that on this video. I bet you a lot of people would love to see that.
Oh yeah, there's a fun thing.
So talk to us for a minute too. I know in the Sylvania Advantage, it's the good news paper,
it is.
And it's full of great stories, local things that are going on in the community, all positive things. Is there one story in particular that stood out to you that's like, this is so great, we were able to share this, and here's something
oh my gosh,
more people maybe know about?
Every single edition, we have people, like right now, this woman, Linda Huffman, is making masks, and she got a template from a Canadian company, and they said, we'll give you this, but any mask making, it has to be 100% nonprofit. You have to give back. And this woman has given to frontline workers, and then if people give her a cash donation, she takes that and she buys food for Sylvania Area Family Services. I mean, it's just this beautiful. People rising up. Every single. It's so hard to pinpoint one specific person, or just our frontline workers and our EMS, it's just the firefighters and EMTs right now are having a whole new fun and games with all the COVID going on, and sharing their stories and their, yes, it's good news, but we also share some of the challenges while doing good. And so it's been really an honor to share those stories as well. Tough to pinpoint. I can't. I mean, they're all
hard to just focus
all
on
amazing. So just pick up an edition, and you'll just, in the pages, there's just, I always say, ordinary people doing extraordinary things. And that's what I love. I mean, you can just be, you don't have to, you can just make a difference in one life, and that's extraordinary. And we share those stories.
Well, you're definitely making a difference in our community. It's fantastic. We're excited to have you here. We love to recognize people that are making a difference, and you definitely are.
I feel very honored.
As we leave, I want you to share with us one of your best or funniest stories from your book. I know you're working on another book. You've got so many great stories.
I
love the camera. Your mom with the camera. I think that's great. But do you have anything else?
Oh my gosh, you're putting me on the spot here.
It's like telling a joke,
all of a sudden,
right?
all of a sudden, I can't share those because I'm the token female on both sides, even not a second cousin. So I'm like, hey, did you hear about Superman's day off? And I made the mistake of my little one. I shared a few jokes, and being the token female, I did not know that the 8-year-old was processing this. So I'm at this medical convention, a lot of family medical people, and this lovely couple that came, from India was there, and all of a sudden my 8-year-old goes, I have a joke. And we thought it was going to be a little knock or Barney or something. He's like, did you hear the one with the lady with the walk into the I'm like, no. So
that's great.
Yeah, well, you have to be careful. No joke telling now, but later. But that's tough. I mean, there's every single day you get inspired, and I always tell my kids, like when my middle daughter, she'll kill me for saying this, but on her driver's test, we were over on the periphery watching, and we knew she just smashed into the car next to her, and she takes the hoodie and does one of these, and all you see is this, and she's like, I'm never coming out of this car, I'm like, you know what, this moment years from now will be one of the funniest things that we'll look back at, and I'll have a good laugh over.
That's true.
And some of those really, like, how am I going to get through these moments later on? You're like, do you remember when? And that, it's just, and that's how my writing is. You take that perfectly imperfect, chaotic thing you call family and friends and life experience, and then you add a little twist and see the humor in it. And like I said, you not just survive, but thrive.
Well, you've done a fantastic job too of turning things, hardships, and we said it earlier, turning a curse into a blessing. And it's something Tom Cole and I talked about. We watched Garth Brooks talk about it on his documentary there, and he said it's so important. And as people that have the ability to do that, they're special people. And so obviously we want to recognize you. You're a special person. Thank you for all you do in our community. Thanks for being here today. And Congratulations.
Well, thank you so much for all you do. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for tuning in. We'll see you next time.